face and start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of towers, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares on the best part of my day.
The goods from the woods.
Hot damn!
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
Pat Riley.
And I'm Brent Pettie.
Yeah.
Wait,
What?
hold on a second.
Who? What?
Who? What?
Huh?
We're missing something here.
Yeah. So
Something's not happening.
we are once again sans good night.
Yeah, I know. It's fear not, everybody. Good night is fine now. He had a medical emergency.
Yeah.
But now he's on painkillers and
Which
and-
really we should have him.
Yeah, but the problem is how amazing Goodnight would be on a opioid painkiller and what sort of wonderful stuff he'd produce. He's producing some other things that aren't so wonderful because he's on antibiotics right now. So I don't think it would have been too great to mic up the bathroom.
Put him on the old CM Punk Z-Packs and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And you would think that they would bring on somebody charismatic to replace Goodnight. But they didn't. It's just me. It's another low energy guy.
I know.
You've got spirit. Yes, you do. You've got spirit, and we do too. But it's all right. We keep chugging along. Good night. I'll be back next week. But yeah, so our guest today is, as I mentioned, my friend Brent Pettie. Actually, before we even start, I wanted to show everybody. I got a gift from one of our listeners, guy out of Albany, New York.
Yeah, this guy's got great ideas.
This guy is awesome.
Sending us gifts.
Hell
hint,
yeah.
Hint.
If you want to send us stuff, just message me on Twitter and I will straight up give you my home address.
Yeah.
If you want to just send me presents. But it's a guy, one of our listeners, his name's Frank Gillen. He's out of Albany, New York. And basically, the story is he was at a comic book convention. He is a cosplayer. He dresses up like Spider-Man, goes to conventions. And while at this convention, he was hustled into purchasing a signed photograph of Tony Atlas.
And you would think it would be Virgil. You would think that it would be wrestling superstar Virgil, but Tony Atlas has gotten into the Virgil game.
Yeah.
And
So let's talk about this picture. I've got it in my hand right here. And
I don't know who either of those men are right there.
well,
So
one of the guys is the father of one of America's great treasures, and the other one is Tony Atlas.
yeah. So on the left, or I'll start with the right. On the right is Rocky Johnson. That is The Rock's dad. That's Dwayne Johnson's father.
Okay.
So the belts they're holding up, Rocky Johnson. We actually talked about this on Wrestling Part 2 a couple weeks ago. Rocky Johnson and Tony Atlas were the first black tag team champions of the world. So they are holding up their belts in this picture.
So it's of historical significance.
It
is what you're
is.
saying.
It is, except that the photograph, which I realized as soon as I looked at it, I'm like, based on how grainy this photograph is and how pixelated
and the paper quality
and the
too.
paper
That
quality,
is a Google image shirt for sure.
it absolutely is from Google Images. And furthermore, in all likelihood, Tony Atlas printed this out himself on his printer. This photograph, I'm willing to put my name on the line, came out of the home offices
of Tony Atlas. Yeah, which if you've seen MTV's True Life, I Want to Be a Professional Wrestler. It's an amazing home office.
Oh, you actually see that?
It's been on television.
But
this
do you-
home
Wow.
office.
Do you think The Rock's dad wasn't returning his calls anymore? So
Well, what's weird is WWE should have sent him something with a higher quality. Like this is like maybe 400 pixels at the most. Like WWE surely has some better high res stuff. They should have just emailed him. He's in the goddamn Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the class of 06.
that's the story. What did Tony Atlas do to not get pictures of himself anymore?
Right. Yeah. Well, I think this is just the cheaper way. I think it's much cheaper to just buy a pack of printer digital photo paper, go on Google image search, and then just open it up in Microsoft Images and hit print.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of toner. And he
But you
clearly
can
had
get
already...
you can get the generic kind from like Korea for pennies on the dollar.
He's got the
clearly-
refillable.
This one looks like he'd already printed off about 150.
Tony Atlas goes to the flea market to the refillable cartridge stand and gets his colors refilled.
It's starting to orange out a little bit.
It is. But that was such a cool gift. It says Tony Atlas 06 WWE Hall of Fame.
What's the thing underneath Atlas?
I can't I can't make it
Like a
out.
Bible quote or something like that. Like
Something. I can't quite make it out, but it's now a permanent fixture in my room. So
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to Frank Gillen. And Frank Gillen, by the way, I mentioned is a cosplayer and does charity work with like children's hospitals and stuff like that up in New York. So good fucking dude. So yeah, if you're if you need some kids to cheer up, give old Frank a call.
Or even if you don't have kids that you
just
need to.
need you.
Yeah, exactly. This guy looks like he really enjoys cosplay. So if you need a Spider-Man, if you need an Ash.
Yeah. Well, in LA, we're kind of spoiled here because we have so many Spider-Men on Hollywood
Yeah.
Boulevard.
But I could use a Spider-Man just to ride around in the car with.
Yeah,
That'd
dude.
be all right.
So I wanted to play this. I went back home for a wedding last month, and I got to go back to Auburn for one night. And we went out to, there's a small town outside of Auburn I've mentioned before called Waverly. And we watched, there's a musician there named Lonnie Holley. And when they were introducing Lonnie, the guy who introduced him goes, all right, Lonnie Holley just got back from a tour of Europe. He did 10 shows and made up over 65 new songs. And that was his intro. I was like, what the fuck is about to happen?
He's got a girlfriend in Alaska, too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, his girlfriend doesn't live here. She doesn't have a phone. But he said he made up 65 new songs. I was like, doing the math. I was like, 10 shows, 60. I was like, so that's like 6 or 7 songs a show. Oh no, this is going to be really long. And this guy goes up to the organ and starts.
Is it a real organ or is it like a Casio keyboard with the organ effect
No,
on it?
it was actually it was like a Nord Electro. Like it was like it was a very expensive, professional electric organ.
Well, of course, he wrote 65 songs in 10 days.
10 days.
He's a prolific musician. Come on, you got to give him the best.
65 organ songs?
I just have to play it because to really understand what I'm talking about here, you just have to listen because I was so in disbelief while this was going on. I was just like, I have to record this. I have to, because this guy just sits down and he makes up all of his like own songs basically as he's going along. So what you're hearing is stream of consciousness insanity.
Rolling them R's.
Say, baby, what you saying? Hey, me. All the words of A in the alphabet. I said, hey,
He's just doing the alphabet.
This is the intro to True Detective Season 3.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh God! If they had like the same thing as this year, where they're like at a bar and he's just always there. Colin Farrell gonna get shot.
World data. World.
This went on for 45 minutes.
The same organ riff?
No, he did about 3 songs this night.
I kind of fucking love it. I'm kind of really into it, actually.
I mean, I've got more samples I'm gonna play because I found more of his stuff. Because obviously, every time he plays, he comes up with new songs. So there's a lot of songs on the internet.
I don't know how much I can handle through the headphones. It kind of sounds like my approaching death. I can't.
You can adjust your volume down here. But yeah, so. But yeah, that was a little bit of that. That was just the stuff that I heard. But there, he actually, believe it or not, did somehow figure out a way to make an album.
Oh, this is is this an album or is this a song?
This is one song.
Okay.
Somebody please tell me the title of the song.
It is 6 space shuttles and 144,000 elephants.
Very particular amount of elephants.
That's right.
This is a lot
When I'm
smoother.
around when a birthday comes. So happy birthday,
He's talking about his birthday.
happy birthday. I say in my mind I got the design. In my mind I got the design.
Now I have no frame of reference of what this guy looks like.
Yeah, it's
This guy's a better musician than me, so I can't like.
I'm not knocking him. I
Yeah,
want you to
yeah.
understand. What I'm knocking is the idea that people were just like sitting around like this was normal. Like that was my favorite part of the whole night. Everybody was just sitting around like, oh yeah, yeah, and I'm just like, no, this guy's fucking. He's on a different level.
I've been to the Boogie a couple times. It's great.
Yeah.
And it is one of those little bastions of culture.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But this is still way, way out. This would be, people wouldn't bat an eye at this here, but this is. He's way too experimental for Waverly.
I don't even know if that's
is that Lochapoka County? What's the county of Waverly?
Chambers County.
Way too fucking experimental for Chambers County.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it went over. Like people were like, people didn't riot in the streets or nothing, but it was.
I mean,
we all just kind of sat there and politely were just like, okay. And meanwhile, I went outside because I started laughing. And so I just had to like separate myself from the situation because I was going to laugh.
I think that's a thing, how music is different than comedy, because if that guy is all in, he's 100% in.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to boo that guy. But if you just even mediocrely do stand up, you'll get boos.
Yeah.
And hecklers. But I couldn't even imagine. You would have to stand and clap and listen to that whole guy's set, because I just feel like that is his entire ethos, that he's just pouring out his soul there.
Well, the South always has, like, especially the New South has this incredible over reverence for like folk and outside
For eccentrics, yeah.
eccentric art, because like there was like all that period of time where people were like, "Who's this weirdo outside of town?" But Howard Finster got picked up by all these people that were like cool.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
they don't want to look like they're not cool. So
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to be the guy who doesn't get this.
Yeah,
And
the
I'm
guy
like,
that doesn't get Howard Finster, the guy that doesn't get half of the High Museum.
Yeah, and I love all that shit. Like I grew up with that, and I genuinely like that. But this, I was just sitting there. I was like, this guy is just making shit up.
Oh, this guy's gonna have a record deal with Sublime Frequencies in no time at all. Yeah,
yeah. It was the highlight of my trip. The wedding was great. It was very beautiful wedding. But the highlight of my trip
I
was
thought this guy played at the wedding.
No, that'd
be awesome.
No, if I get married though, that's a condition of marrying me. We have to have this guy.
Yeah, but I thought the
uncomfortable.
condition of your wedding was to have
Walk on Water.
Walk on Water
I
by
haven't-
Eddie Money.
Oh, I haven't forgotten.
You can get Eddie Money.
Oh, I know I can. Oh yeah, he's available.
He plays Melbourne, Florida all the time.
He might ride with you back to Alabama.
I bet he lives like in the valley, in just a regular ass house.
I bet he'll hop. I bet he'd be down for a road trip. You could just tell me you got a gig, but it's going to take a couple days to get there.
Yeah.
He'll probably ride with you.
I think he lives in like Long Island. He's one of those Long Island guys. Yeah,
Okay.
that still like lives down the street from the same old like he still lives in the same house that his parents lived in, but he like did it up really well and has a sweet man cave and lives down the street from like Leslie West from Mountain or something like that.
Are you saying there's a neighborhood where Eddie Money's still really revered? Like that's
Yeah.
Eddie's fucking neighborhood?
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Eddie Money's neighborhood, of course.
Yeah, one street over is Frankie Valley territory. you know?
Exactly. Like there's different blocks where this is like they have the name blocks in New York. So
Yeah.
there's like Joey Ramone Way.
Eddie Murphy Boulevard.
Yeah, exactly. Kosciuszko, whatever. They have that, but it's like it's an unspoken thing where it's like, yo, this is Money's block right here.
Yeah, don't fuck around.
I mean, if you became famous enough, I couldn't say I wouldn't move away from like that block that I got a free sandwich on.
Yeah.
So he's probably just got like
Yeah.
a bagel hookup he gets every day.
Yeah.
And he just decided to stay there. I can't blame him. If I had a sandwich spot, I would just stay there.
Yeah, but there's like a thing where, dads tell their sons that it's just like, this is where Eddie Money gets his hardware. This is hardware. This is his true value hardware.
Yeah, Ronnie's Hardware? That was the Ronnie he was talking about in Take Me Home Tonight.
Exactly. You thought it was Ronnie Specht. It was actually Ronnie.
It was Ronnie from Ronnie's Hardware. Just like Ronnie said. Yeah. Give me a wrench. That was the original lyric, but he had to change it because it wasn't commercial enough.
Yeah.
So Brent, you work at
I don't know.
landscaping
Yeah,
place.
I don't know. I'm wearing the T-shirt right now, but
Well, we're not gonna
I
say
think
it.
best not to implicate them.
Oh no! I wasn't going to.
Or he can say it and we can bleep it out.
Yeah.
I always love it.
I would
when we
love
do
to
that.
plug them. I love where I work. Basically, I work for a company, kind of like landscaping, but they install garden boxes mostly at rich people's houses. And then we have gardeners or urban farmers. Technically, I'm an urban farmer. Is my job title.
Do you have business cards?
I wish.
Dude.
Technically, I'm an urban farmer, but basically, they grow vegetables for rich people who have gotten so rich they've lost these basic capabilities, and now they don't, know anybody that knows how to grow like collard greens or something.
But that's so easy because I do that sort of stuff, and I just like water it every once in a while. And that's it.
Like my job is I do I build the beds and I hook up the irrigation, so it's like construction, but. Yeah, essentially, it's really weird. It's like you get rich enough where you start forgetting how to do simple tasks. Like eventually you get rich enough where you just have a driver and you can't drive anymore. But these people are like second and third generation, so like there's no farming there anymore.
But they want farms though.
But that's the thing, yeah. And now it's cool to have
so crazy.
sustainable produce that you paid somebody too much money.
Oh, so this is a good
to make in your backyard.
So do you plant the stuff or you just make the boxes?
Right now, I'm pretty much just like building the boxes and
because I'm interested,
sort of
like
thing.
what do rich people? What crops do they want?
Yeah,
I'm assuming arugula. Just
kale.
Yeah, you can assume there's lots of kale. There's stuff that I still don't know much about. Like it's very this is highbrow farming. So we're talking about some bok choy.
Eyebrow farming.
We're talking. It is. This is not.
Mizuna. Mizuna's the big one.
This is not your.
Pass me the spade, dog.
This is not your grandpappy's chicken wire patch out back with some tomatoes and some beans.
That's literally my grandpappy had all of those things.
Right. This is like some like nice redwood beds.
Ooh,
some
beds.
like some brushed rusted metal. Beds, like these are really nice installations because they're like the house I worked at today had a fucking tennis court, a full size tennis court with a scoreboard on it too, like the little the number stand.
Oh God, was there just a guy just waiting? They always have a man up there just waiting.
I think the gardener they had 2 full-time gardeners, so one of them might double as
a scorekeeper.
Yeah.
As a scorekeeper.
One of them's not even a gardener. He's just like a Kato Kalin looking dude. A former failed actor that was like the yoga instructor of like the wife and
right. Well, and he also attaches them to the sex swings at night too.
Yeah,
that's his other job. He mops up after their weird parties with pig masks and shit like that.
But yeah, that's a lot of it. As I've worked the nicest areas that I didn't even fathom before I moved here. Like I didn't really think Bel Air was a real place, and that's where I was today. But yeah, like Laurel Canyon, just stupid,
Redwood.
just stupid rich.
Oh yeah,
Redwood
places.
garden boxes. My landlady built garden boxes for my wife and I, but she got the wood out of the dumpster that like somebody was renovating down the street, and she just like on the low just pulled out all the wood from the dumpster and just built them right there. So it's like this plywood that's all like half painted up because it was like part of someone's kitchen.
Oh, okay. In Bel Air, they call that shabby chic.
Oh, okay.
It's a repurposed wood.
Yeah, repurposed wood.
Oh, it's recycled. So I get extra cool points.
No, but I mean, I did like a friend asked me to build a garden box, and I stole a pallet from Home Depot, and I was like, this is it. This is what we're going to use.
Yeah, Bel Air, fun fact about Bel Air, the reason Bel Air has no sidewalks is because Beverly Hills had sidewalks and there were too many like walking tours and of celebrity homes back in the 20s. So when they built Bel Air in the early 30s, they were like, fucking no sidewalks, goddammit. Keep the peasants out. They can't walk our streets.
This might be unimaginable, but try to imagine this. Bel Air is the nice part of Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
It's the nicer part. It's the fucking bastion on the hill overlooking Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills is beneath them.
Yeah, it's literally beneath them. Yeah.
It is literally beneath them, but status-wise, it definitely is.
Yeah.
If you can imagine that. I just assumed Beverly Hills was the nicest place in the world, and it's close.
Yeah.
But there's a nicer place next door to it.
And then up above that is the Pacific Palisades, which is even nicer than that. So yeah, it never stops.
It's a spiral of ungodly wealth.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a literal hierarchy.
Right, yeah.
That we must destroy.
Yeah, exactly. That must be brought down. That's
for real though. I actually don't think the rich people that we grow for even eat them.
Yeah, they don't probably.
I've heard numerous stories that after all this effort and good work, that basically
one week,
the farmer will collect all of these things. We'll harvest and then put them in a basket right on their front doorstep.
Yeah.
Right where they walk by on the way home. It's harvested. It's ready to go. It's in a fucking basket, cleaned off. And then they'll come back next week and they'll just be there rotten still.
Hold on. So wait.
This is awesome.
There's a farmer?
Yeah, like I said, I'm technically an urban farmer, although I'm not really. I'm doing the construction stuff. There's most of these places have have a person that comes by weekly to maintain it. And then harvest whatever's ready and put it on their fucking doorstep.
I was real confused. Okay, this is even better. So, they're not doing anything.
No, the rich people, no.
They're not doing anything.
No. And then we're not talking about like invalids. We're talking about 30s, 40s, 50s.
Oh, I know who we're talking about.
So
Hollywood socialites.
Yeah.
So does to build into this experience, does the farmer like play farmer? Does he like dress up like old McDonald?
Yeah,
and
the rich people are just like, darling, you have to put on overalls.
Yeah.
If you're not wearing overalls, you're not getting the full farm experience.
Just some big burly dude with a crew cut and a pair of Oshkosh Bigosh overalls.
He's got
looking
hay,
like Senator.
Got hay in his mouth and shit.
Looking like Senator John Tester.
Straw hat.
Yeah.
I really don't need to play it up too much at all.
God, dude, I would.
To them, I'm the yokelist, fucking backwoodziest,
right?
Down from the hills person they've ever seen in their whole life.
Oh God.
So to them, I am, I'm a fucking hayseed. I just blew in on the wind.
An actual hillbilly growing.
I'm fucking Johnny Appleseed come to help him out.
Yeah, a fucking an artisan hillbilly,
an artisan southerner.
Dude, I would play it up so bad. I would show up with a fucking bindle and like patches on my jeans and shit. Oh, I'm just passing through, mister. You got any work for me?
But you have to trim all the weeds with a goat. You bring a goat.
It's like a living lawnmower. You just turn the goats loose in your yard.
Do you have any cans to feed them?
They love cans and fucking.
I will say that everyone has been really incredibly nice. Like all the people I work for, I've expected them to be assholes, but they're all just amazed at what I'm doing.
Oh yeah.
And they're super excited, and they don't know anything about it. I can tell them anything.
This shovel is really small. That you're
it's a spade.
It's called a hand shovel.
Get the fuck away.
It's a wrist shovel. No,
ooh, what are these big scissors?
Everyone's just incredibly excited and likes to watch and likes to learn.
Oh man, I need to get into this.
This sounds kind of great. So you're just building stuff right now, but eventually, you'll be making house calls? Like you just show up and harvest stuff and then leave it on a door?
Yeah, I might have a garden that belongs to me. Like I might have some places that are on a route for me. But yeah, I'm still kind of
Do you have to you gotta shuck corn and clean green beans and do all the.
Ain't nobody growing corn out here, Rivers. Nobody's growing sweet corn. And then we're talking about salad greens and juicing stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. You might could grow some. I don't know.
I haven't seen any yet.
I'm sure there's corn that tastes like shit that's good for you.
Oh, yeah, you can grow it. I just haven't seen it.
Artisan non-Monsanto corn.
Right, yeah, grow the blue Aztec corn and all that kind of shit. Yeah.
Maize.
So how do I turn it into chips? I want to make some nachos.
I've seriously seen at a farmer's market corn husks for sale. Dried out corn stalks and husks.
Oh, for tamales.
For tamales and stuff, yeah.
No, I mean not just like that. I mean the actual stock itself.
Oh, okay.
Which is garbage.
Yeah.
For sale.
Just to line the bottom of your hamster cage or some shit?
To put in a vase, I have no clue. Yeah. I'm not really sure.
As an accent for a floral arrangement for autumn.
Yeah, farming is strange here. They don't understand it. It's different.
It's so fucking funny.
This is great.
I couldn't have imagined there was a job like this where it's like rich people. Like, I get building gardens. That totally makes sense because no one knows how to do that shit. But
right.
like,
Anybody can urban farm. This is just a company that does it for you. And here's how I'll plug them. If you're interested, they have like a newsletter and stuff. Just Google Los Angeles urban farming.
Will they have tips that I can use as a peasant commoner?
No, they don't give that shit away for free, dog.
No, I think they have a blog, newsletter or something.
Of course they got a blog.
It's enticing.
Yeah, they put out some information.
Yeah, it's not even on Tumblr. It's
Are you
for
gonna
the people.
Are you gonna get like your own section of the blog, like Brent's tips or what? Or like
Farmer Brent.
I have an internet profile on the website, and it says, and while he's not here, he's out doing stand-up comedy.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah,
yeah.
that's.
But you really want them to know that? I think you build up the kind of impression that like, no, you're like 100% committed to the earth, and this is your creative outlet.
I normally don't want anybody to know that, but
they have to put it there.
yeah, anybody who doesn't happen to see me on stage, I don't really want to know that. But like I said, the people I work for are really cool. Yeah, I'm tired of explaining that to employers. I Lyft drove for like 4 months. So literally, that means like you have the exact same conversation 12 times a night in the same night. So literally, you have to have that same. Oh, so you do stand up? Cool.
Yeah.
What's that? Where do you do stand up? Do you go to UCB? Have you ever taken the classes? You should take the classes.
I took them. I saw a homeless man wearing a UCB sweater last winter, and it was the fucking greatest moment of my life.
He spent his last $500 on improv classes.
It's like, oh, you can't yes and your way to some soup.
Brent, I have a question. Have you had any of your clients ask you if you can grow truffles in their urban garden?
No, but I'm surprised not. I'm surprised that.
I would expect that to be the thing. Like they expect you to be like, yeah, I could totally do it, and then like 3 months later, you bring like a pig to like tear up their yard,
search for truffles.
This is Reuter. He's our number one truffle pig.
Yeah.
It's weird because I knew that it was trendy.
Yeah.
And I figured that, like, if I was to guess, you would build the beds. You might even just plant the stuff and tell them what to do, or get, like, house calls if they got aphids or something like that. But you actually have a dude that comes through.
Does everything.
And cuts it. Like, he cuts it and he puts it in artisanal baskets.
Oh, yeah. Like, checks the irrigation, fertilizes, checks for pests, and then actually like clips off the part that you want.
Yeah.
Cleans it, washes it off, brushes it off, puts it in a little basket for you, and like puts it under. But some people,
but somebody else cooks it probably.
Yeah, we don't cook it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, some maid cooks it.
Yeah. Somehow, yeah, exactly.
Some of these people cook, and some of these people actually do their own farming to an extent, but most of them, I think we maintain basically and do it all for them.
That's so fucking funny.
This is so good.
And sometimes they just leave the baskets there.
It's kind of like working for a feudal lord on their farm.
Yeah, I was just kind of thinking.
Except just on contract and like, for many feudal lords.
Right.
You know how you would farm, at the base of the castle and then bring your bounty, up to the...
Right.
Except I don't have to
vassal,
subsist on that garden plot as well.
Yeah.
I had In-N-Out Burger on the way here.
Yeah,
And are these like actors and actresses, or are these like people that are many generations down, that they like grew up rich and their parents grew up rich, so they're so disconnected from reality that they just like basic tasks are just beyond them?
It's a mix. So, some people are new money.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, there's somewhat, even no matter how long it's been for them, there still is a groundedness to them. They're still like, come out, shake your hand, like talk to you, like a lot of these people, what I didn't realize is the really, like, I think rich ones that have been that way for a while, it's not weird for people just to be at their house.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And they don't feel like there's any, like they don't even notice you, and it's okay that you're just in their backyard. Whereas, where I grew up and where Rivers grew up, if you're in somebody's backyard,
No, we had this too.
without a declaration,
You're gonna get shot.
you're gonna get fucking shot.
Yeah.
And this is what I kept thinking was gonna happen. But no, these people are just used to people buzzing around their hive, fucking.
You know what though?
Doing things.
There's places like there's parts of Auburn that are like that, where it's like there are some extraordinarily
True.
wealthy people who just have help all the time. There's help. I mean, I grew up in a neighborhood very near to that where it's
True.
like
Yeah, I mean there's that in Mobile too. There was like I went to private school with a lot of people that were ridiculously rich, old money,
yeah.
Mobilians, but yeah, they had like a nanny that would drive, maybe not live with them, but drive over in the morning, take their kids to school,
Do all the laundry,
come back,
watch soap operas. Her name was Miss Ann.
Yeah. Drove a 1983 Cadillac,
Yeah,
and then
dude.
would go pick them up from school, bring them back,
Yeah.
start dinner, and then leave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then go home and care for her.
But that was so
children.
funny when you said that they're just so used to having people around because I grew up with kids like that where you go to their house and it's just like, who the fuck is this guy with the wheelbarrow back in the scary guy next to the treehouse with the wheelbarrow? And they're like, oh, that's Steve. He's cool.
Yeah, I grew up in Florida where there is no old money. 'Cause,
There are old people and they have money. but
Yeah.
there's no money.
no, all the old people with money moved to like Arizona or like Utah or
Yeah.
something like that. No, it's like these are the people that are old that moved down there. Guys that got their pension from the police department or something like that.
Right.
But like, there's no old money. It's all new money. So it's like everybody there that like has money is like all into like stand your ground. They want people to get on their yard so they can just blow
they
them
can
away.
shoot 'em?
Right.
Like that's their sort of thing. That's like you've arrived at money as you can blow someone away
And-
because they're on your.
Yeah, in my backyard, the guy with the wheelbarrow was me. Yeah.
Right.
Was me like getting,
it was me
getting
too in
woken
my
up,
backyard,
getting
but-
woken up at 9 a.m. on a Saturday when I just wanted to sleep off a hangover. It's
Yeah.
like 15. Dad's like, "Hey, guess what? Got a little project for you.
Yeah. That's like
Just make a pile over there and set it on fire."
set it on fire.
That's amazing that you can do that.
Yeah.
Down south, is you can set stuff on fire. And then leave it.
It was
And that's okay.
it was like when my grandparents died, I had to clean out their house and they just have a trash barrel and because they don't have like you have to drive all your stuff in the pickup truck to the dump because they don't have like house pickup services because it's like way the hell out in the country. So, we're just like going through all the stuff and just taking it out there and get a huge pile, and at the end of the day, just cover it in gas and set it on fire.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because it's always like that metal trash barrel that looks like
Big oil drum, 50-gallon oil
Yeah,
drum.
that like the dudes from Rocky 1 should be like singing around it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
yeah. There was
Doo-wop around.
there was some people in an old wooden house that was like. It's hard to explain. Like the little farm property we had when I was growing up was like down the street from my house. Like we didn't have it when I grew up. We bought it when I was like 12 or 13 or something, and had it until I was in my 20s at Auburn. And we had to sell it.
Yeah.
But we built a farm there, and like it would make a perfect rectangle, except for one corner was cut out where there was this old wooden house, and it was just trash. It was a trash house. It was a beautiful house that had gone to shit.
Yeah.
That was just a
man.
beautiful wooden home, but in the back, a metal barrel almost rusted out completely from fire.
Yeah.
And that shit would always drift. Like while you're on the tractor making a run, you just catch a plasticky smoke that fills you up. It feels like fucking mustard gas. Also, we found out later those people didn't have a septic tank. They had a pipe that ran onto our property.
Oh,
nice.
great.
So there was like a sinkhole in the corner of the farm where the tractor kept getting stuck, and it was because it was just an open pit underneath the ground where there's sewer.
When you said that, I thought that like there wasn't even a pipe involved, that there was like some sort of like plastic bag and like jar set up.
yeah, like hoarders.
There was a pipe. It just really didn't go anywhere.
We just been shitting in diapers the whole time.
As long as it went to the other side of the fence, they thought it was cool.
And don't
We got a couple of them big old Tupperwares that been doing all right.
But that's an amazing thing about in the South is that when it's off of it's cool if it's off of your yard, because there's like that whole thing where it's like if someone's like dog crap, like the dogs always run wild and like someone craps on your yard, it's cool if you just throw it in your neighbor's yard. Like it's just like, oh yeah, you don't have to worry about it. I threw it.
There
in
is a
Kevin's
greater
yard.
sense of property there.
It's like the lines mark like out of sight out.
So you're familiar with these jobs I do. I go to really nice houses for the most part.
Yeah.
We also do schools. I left that part out. We do, some teaching gardens we've set up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And other things like, so it's not just, 100% houses. I think they have done, churches or community centers or things like that before.
Yeah.
So we were just told we were going to this church. It was kind of new agey. And
red flag.
That was about all we had got. And me not being a church person who grew up in church, churches are kind of all the same to me. I just kind of expect the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Whether it's Korean Jesus or regular Jesus, whatever. Basically, I knew that like the line of demarcation, like the point that like diverged, was whenever we got to the place. And we found out the property's name on Google Maps was the Peace Awareness Labyrinth and Gardens.
Labyrinth.
That's what it comes up. And a labyrinth is like that sounds even more ridiculous. A labyrinth is one of those. It's a walking meditation circle. It's like just a brick pathway thing that you walk around.
It has a Yelp. It has a Yelp page.
Right.
Yelp.
It's technically a public space, but on this like public gardens, which are beautiful, is
Holy
this
shit,
house,
this place is crazy.
which Rivers has pulled up, and just to
Oh my god! It looks like the capital of a small nation.
Or it looks like that. If you guys have ever seen any of the R. Kelly videos with Mr. Big,
yeah,
it looks like the house that Mr. Big lives in.
it totally looks like
like
something
Ronald
that
Isley lives
the United States military would be like. There would be a chopper buzzing around. There'd be
Right.
some guy held up in there.
Yeah, the president of some island nation
Right.
gets assassinated on the roof for doing too much cocaine.
So we just drove into this. Here's the rooftop garden that they wanted. Basically, that was why we were there.
Okay.
Was we put on garden boxes up there. But anyways, we drove around to the back
Yeah.
of this place, not knowing what the fuck it was. There are marble statues everywhere of naked women and animals. And
This is Scarface's house, basically.
there's this like little, like, I don't know what to call it, like a little storied like tranquility like fountain thing that's like dripping down next to the stairs, and it's legitimately outside one of the most beautiful places I've been. It's in West Adams, which, if you don't know, like, West Adams is where like the original high money was in old Hollywood. So this is like silent movie era. This is where people bought mega mansions.
Yes.
Back when disparity of wealth was fucking even
more
higher than it is now. Yeah. So these are like these giant mansions with elevators inside them, and like a section of the house where the help lives, and like just this whole fucking deal. But we walk in through the back into an office, and we were both already like making eyes at each other, like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And so we walk into this office, and my eyes just start darting around at like all this crazy shit that's in their little office there.
Yeah.
And it's mostly just like Renaissance era art, but like prints, not the fucking originals.
Yeah, of
they've
course.
got a lot of money, but they kind of skimped on the art.
Yeah.
And then
Spend it all on the frames.
so we're looking for a guy named Tim who's supposed to be telling us where we're going and what we're doing. And she tells us what we need to know. And I turn around, and I swear to fucking God, I tried to get a picture of this so badly. Next to the door on the way out of this office, back the way we came, there was a small like 8x12 picture of Jesus Christ on a satellite phone. And that was
Gordon
like
Gecko Jesus and shit.
that was like the second. It was like a paint. It was a painting. It was not. It was definitely not like a little Photoshop. It was something. Somebody.
Because what would be the market for that?
Somebody painted start to finish.
I want a painting.
And it was a good painting.
I want I want Gordon Gecko Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus with the Mr. Sosa phone.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the shit's hitting the fan here at Golgotha. I'm gonna have to call you back.
It's one thing to like if we had done a job for like the Scientology
I was crying
Center.
blood, bro, at Gethsemane. I was crying fucking blood. I'm stressed. Sorry.
It's one thing to like if I just did a job for like the Scientology Center because I would know exactly what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
This is where like
this is low rent Scientology. I think.
I mean, this is a really nice place, and apparently they have other. They're for whatever reason they're in the United States and Australia.
Well, yeah.
I don't know why. And they seem to have some foreign connections because a lot of the people there were foreign. But anyways, like to be there and this to slowly unravel upon you. I've never heard of this place. I've never heard of this organization. And then just slowly, like this job I'm at kind of turns terrifying. So basically, yeah, I mean, later in that day, after much weirdness, after going around this house, which looks like it's from, American Horror Story, we did Wikipedia and find out everything there was to know about MMs IA. There's Pat's checking out the reading right now.
Yeah, this is an interview with John Roger on the Christ.
Oh yeah, they say the Christ a lot,
Yeah.
and every picture of John Roger, which are he's for sure the head guy. There's lots of pictures of him throughout this house. Every picture of him has too much light on it.
Yeah.
It looks like the lights of heaven are right off center of his face, and it makes him look like an irradiated ghoul. It makes him look like it makes it look like he's received radiation poisoning.
Is Christ conscious the same as the traveler consciousness? If not, can you explain the difference? The Christ consciousness is not the same as the traveler or perceptor conscious. There's like so many different types of consciousnesses.
You have to like it's almost like one of these magazines where you like have to know so much before you even start reading. It's just it's crazy.
The trouble I'm having now is there's so many places to start from. There's so many.
Oh, I get it. The founder, John Roger, formerly Roger Hinkins, and John Morton directed the group.
That's what's confusing, yeah.
And they are both referred to as the Traveler.
Okay, so that's the traveler consciousness we're talking about.
That's both of them.
Oh, okay.
These two Johns holding it together.
Are they?
Can I see the pamphlet real quick? I gotta.
Are they involved in some sort of relationship?
No. Interesting. You should bring up John Rogers / John whatever the fuck.
John Delano Hinkins, real name.
John Delano.
Was born September 24th, 1934 to a Mormon family in Rains, Utah. Hinkins was raised in Utah and received a bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Utah in 1958 before moving to San Francisco. Okay, that's what happened.
Yeah.
I immediately detected the weirdness of Mormonism before I even knew that. Like, I was just like, it feels really Mormon in
Mormon
here.
plus acid? Oh, yeah. Being in San Francisco in the 60s and you're hardcore Mormon? Yeah.
There's an awkwardness that you perceive,
I am God. Yeah.
that you perceive around people that can only be Mormonism sometimes. So I feel like, I still haven't described all of this completely. So essentially this house is like a compound and people live there. It's a hotel. It's like a long-term stay hotel. So the people I'm talking about running into...
He's dead.
All live there.
Is that what you just saw?
This line is amazing. Okay. In late 1963, Hinkins underwent kidney stone surgery, which led to a 9-day coma and a near-death experience. Shortly after this, Hinkins visited two trance channelers and claimed to have encountered a higher consciousness named John within himself and started referring to himself as the John Roger.
And he's dead. John Roger's dead, and there's an interview with him in this magazine.
There's a parking spot reserved for John Roger.
Well, he's dead. Oh, it's like Elijah at Passover.
I don't know whether or not this guy is dead or not.
It says he's fucking dead. John Roger died at age 80 on October 22nd, 2014 of pneumonia after several years of poor health.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. It's been confusing
it's amazing.
doing research on a guy that has 3 different names
and
who apparently they think is still alive.
But it's like with Scientology, where there's an office for L. Ron in every
center all across the world. In case
there's a parking spot for him at the facility I was at.
That is totally like the Jesus on the cell phone thing. It's like instead of leaving a chair for the prophet Elijah, you fucking Jesus needs his fucking parking spot. You better leave it open. He's gonna be fucking wicked.
There was somebody
pissed,
in his
bro.
parking spot, and like I said, what had thrown me off was I thought there was two Johns. There was a John that had died that started it, and a John Roger who was now at the top.
There's also John Morton.
There's John Morton.
Right.
They're both the Traveler. Is Morton the sexy guy on the front?
Yeah.
John
That's him
Morton's
with look at this.
is a good-looking guy.
Morton is like a sex
He's
machine.
a
bro.
hunk.
Yeah, he's a beefcake.
He's an alpha male you could listen to. Like if it's the end of the world, you might want to be in his posse. But I wish I could describe better to you the horrifying nature of John Roger. It looks like at some point in time all of his skin had to be put back on.
Like his skeleton melted a little bit.
And it just won't go on quite as tight as it used to.
He looks like Billy Carter with a bad facelift in that picture.
My favorite, there's a lot in this fucking magazine. As Pat was reading it, it's meant to be intentionally confusing.
Yeah.
Purposefully vague.
It throws a lot of science in there. It throws a little Christ and a little Buddhism in there, and it's meant to be purposely confusing. On top of this article that we're looking at, which is entitled 100% Living and Dying with John Roger by Mr. David Sand, there's a picture of John Roger reading a newspaper. And what does the pull quote say next to him reading a newspaper?
I'll bet you think I'm reading the newspaper.
This looks like
no explanation given.
It's like one of those little captions that you'd see at the bottom of like a yearbook photo.
Yeah,
where they're trying to be all like witty. It's like, oh, I bet you think I'm reading the newspaper.
I still don't know what the fuck that means. I've done research. I've read this whole fucking pamphlet.
Yeah.
MSIA has frequently been accused of being a cult of personality. Whether or not MSIA should be labeled a cult is a matter of dispute. Both the movement and his founders have both been through alleged scandals. Suggesting financial improprieties as well as sexual misconduct by Hinkins.
John Rogers' defense for why he had young male staffers, young male members of the church sleep in his room at night was because he needed somebody to protect his body while he was outside of it.
They were watching. They were watchmen. They were
basically
young boy watchmen.
He was out in spiritual adventures outside of his body, and he needed young boys constantly to keep his body safe
during his astral projections.
Right. From their point of view,
and stuff can get crazy on the astral plane. Man.
Yeah.
That's
from the accusations levied against him. He forced them to have sex with him so they could maintain spiritual greatness and stay inside the church. So this is why I don't really have a problem talking shit.
Right. Yeah. Oh, God.
About this whole crazy thing that I just wound up hanging out at for a few days.
This is such a pathetic list. So, like, Scientology has some fucking heavy hitters, man. You got Tom Cruise, you got your John Travolta, you got your Kirstie Alley.
They're a couple power hitters away from Scientology.
A few. This is several well-known individuals and public figures have been involved with MSIA. The most prominent of these is Ariana Huffington.
The most,
darling, we simply love it.
Ariana Huffington's got a lot of money, but yeah.
Darling, it's great. Everybody goes to John Rogers' house, and he's basically a vampire that drinks young children's blood at night while he astral projects. It's great. Write a blog for no money, please.
Now, Ariana Huffington is no longer in it, I believe.
Yeah, she's out of it.
I think that's because she couldn't be the Christ.
Well, yeah, of course. Let's see. Other notable members are the Beach Boys. Carl Wilson.
But Carl Wilson was in every cult.
Yeah, he was with Charles Manson.
Yeah, he rolled with everybody.
Yeah, he's a cult whore.
He was always the guy that was in the cult and left the cult before the mass suicide / murder spree. He was in all the cults,
I would be surprised if there wasn't a Beach Boys connection.
Yeah.
This is a deep ass rabbit hole, I think.
Yeah, no, this is this is Scientology light.
So yeah, one of the places that I got to go to borrow a dolly was in their basement.
Was it an actual person named Dolly? Just waiting in the basement. Hi.
Who was hand walking.
Yeah.
No. So that
Use me.
in their basement was way too many pictures of one person. Like that's when
It's all John Roger.
that's when I started to put together this this guy, which I didn't know was John Roger at the time. He's the leader.
Yeah.
Because there's pictures
He's in a cowboy
like
hat.
this.
Well, yeah, he likes this cowboy motif.
God, that's so funny.
Okay.
Not a very natural cowboy.
No,
Yeah.
no, he is one of the doughiest people I've ever seen.
So, believe it or not, there's a shitload of books and tapes that they sell and will send out to your home. So there was like books and tapes, like stacked up and like ready to go in this mailroom.
Yeah.
And they were selling T-shirts that looked like jerseys, and on the front they said integrity, and on the back they just said John Roger. So like you can buy a T-shirt that just has like a number 9 on it. And has John Rogers' name on it.
Number 9. Jesus.
Like he plays for your favorite local amateur softball team.
Oh, see, I was thinking it was 1 through 9. It's like these because he has nine young men guarding his body while he's off in space.
The T-shirts are real basic. The books and tapes, there are a shitload of. There's so many books and tapes that they had for sale that they were packaging there and distributing. It was, I don't know, it was like being inside the fucking hive mind or being inside the, what's the architect in the Matrix, like going inside the TV room.
Right, but it's just, the Jesus with the cell phone thing is still my favorite.
Yeah, because I love, because the thing that's amazing is that the lifeblood of these cults in Los Angeles are failed actors and actresses.
Right.
That's like the lifeblood. Like they've just had their dreams dashed. Like they were the big star in their small like hometown. They're big fish in the small pond, and they're gonna make it in Hollywood. And they come here and they just get wrecked.
Yeah.
They get wrecked. And, maybe they get addicted to, drugs, on a mild level.
Right.
And then they go to these, and it's like associated with big stars like Jamie King and Ariana Huffington. Well, and it's like, oh man, this is gonna change things. And that's where the ball starts rolling on these.
I'll attest, I'm in my first...
John Morton probably was one of those guys. Like, look at him. He's a good looking dude.
Yeah, John Morton was almost assuredly an actor that fell
For
under
sure,
this guy's spell.
yeah. But no, I'll attest, like, I'm in my first year here still, and it's been a rough fucking year. And this is a place where, like, nothing makes sense at all. Like, no matter where you're from, you're going to find that, like, things don't make sense here. So if you're off base enough, this might be the place that makes sense to you. Like, this might be this might be the kindness that you find. And then all of a sudden, you're hanging out there and you're spending some money, to stay the night there, and you bought a meal pass at the cafeteria there, which by the way smelled like they cooked a dead horse in it, a long dead horse in it.
They probably cooked John Roger.
Because they probably have a special.
Cooked
Well, no,
John
'cause
Roger.
they probably have like a special diet because all that stuff is like
it's
based
just,
on.
I think
small pieces
I
of
think
John Roger.
They were cutting the money there. Like every day was soup day.
Yeah, they couldn't afford their like Cisco contract.
Every day was old sock soup day. It was a really nice. It looked like a fucking Starbucks built into this like otherwise kind of preserved place. But
Yeah.
like the groups of people I saw around there, which is sad. This is gonna bring the shit down, but it's like was either terminally ill people or very old people who had kind of lost their way, had nowhere to go, so they were living there. Was young, very awkward people, like people who just, of course, they're hanging out at church because no one's inviting them to hang out anywhere else.
Yeah.
And then a lot of foreign people from just kind of all over. People that didn't have a real good grip on the language. People that you could tell maybe they came from the Australia branch from some other part of the world.
Right.
Like this was their bastion. This was their safe house here. Like it was a very weird collective of people inhabiting this house.
Yeah.
I just wanted to read something because I was perusing this magazine, and there's an interview with John Morton about his life with John Roger, and
right.
This is the
It all starts when I didn't pass the audition as being the deli manager on Mork and Mindy. I've been a recurring character.
Yeah, they kicked him out of Television City.
I had that
because his
Mentos
outfit
spot.
for Price is Right was too fucking loud.
I had that Mentos spot tied down.
Yeah,
Scott Baio ended up playing Chachi.
Scott fucking Baio.
Scott Baio.
I love Joni.
Yeah.
It was
and
me.
it sent me on a path to self-discovery, which ended with John Roger.
This is what John Morton has to say about John Roger. Quote, "Am I saying he's God and we're not? I'm not saying that. I'm saying that in some way he was assigned the job to speak for God. or be God, or express what it is, and he articulated it, but in this very ordinary, down-to-earth way that many people would dismiss. To me, he was someone who was always winking. What the fuck does that mean? Also, it says, am I saying he's God? I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he was assigned to speak for God or be God. So he just contradicted himself.
I've read the exact words that Rivers has read a few times. And
What the fuck does that mean?
Let me point out this article is set up as an interview.
Right.
With a single question to start it off. And that's not what's asked. It's not asked, is he God?
Yeah.
It said, what's it like working with him? And the first thing out of his mouth is, it's kind of like working with God. Not saying he's God, but it's a lot like working with God. There's the language they use is insane, and a lot like Scientology. They have they both use a lot of there's actually a glossary at the back
of terms
where they have acronyms.
Oh God,
and terms. Like I said, they use words in a way that they're not supposed to be used, and they also just use an unreasonable amount of acronyms for some reason.
Well, yeah, no, it's like the code. It's really interesting. Cults are really interesting because it's just they're so outside of. They seem so preposterous that people would be part of them, but it's just really interesting how people get drawn into them because it's very routine in a way where it's just
right,
where it's it's always somebody that has a friend that's associated with it. And the friend gets them into it. And then eventually there's them trying to get their family into it. Maybe some family members come in. Then they withdraw even more. And then there's another form of language and routine kind of taken into it. It's very interesting, especially when there's that book where it's where prophecy fails, where it's when they have these kind of prophecies and they fail, the world's gonna end, a doomsday cult,
right? Like the Millerites and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen, and people just get more and more convinced of it, even when the stuff fails. Right. And it's so amazing when you read the stuff where it's these kind of, these acronyms where it's this kind of separated off language. It's oh, you don't understand MTP. Let me explain MTP for you. But they don't explain what MTP is.
You never figure it out.
That's the thing that needs to be explained is I'm one of the most cynical people in the world. I look at everything very cynically. So it didn't take me very long to be oh shit, this is a cult.
Yeah.
But there's not a big sign out front that says, hey, guess what? This is a cult. If you're not interested in cult stuff, don't come in.
Well, the Labyrinth part.
What? But, that's okay.
Because I didn't know what a tile labyrinth was. You just told me it was called the Labyrinth. I was they drop you in there with a fucking Minotaur and shit.
No, but here's the amazing thing is that day, that very first day, we get back and we're telling this to a girl who works in the office there. And she starts freaking out. She's oh my God. One of my friends just took a meditation class there. Because she had just looked up meditation classes, which is a thing people do. There's nothing incredibly crazy about that. And she had just taken a meditation class there. And she thought it was very weird that she had to fill out lots of paperwork about her spiritual place and her beliefs and all this information just to take a fucking meditation class. Well, it turns out she took it at a cult. And she didn't know any better. She thought it was very weird. But that's the thing is that it's a little bit more insidious than you give it credit for.
Right.
And also, it's legitimately terrifying. I immediately knew this would be good material.
Yeah.
But I was also fucking terrified.
Yeah.
That's the scariest place I have ever been. And I've been inside Bryce, which was a old Civil War hospital / state mental asylum.
Oh yeah.
Which was abandoned when I was and falling apart when I was there.
Yeah.
At fucking night. I've been there.
Yeah.
And this was scarier.
Right.
And this had the lights on and had people moving around. But this was it was like being in an episode of American Horror Story. It was like traveling back in time to a different reality.
It's I would just tell this story, but Joe Raines did such a great version of it at Epic Comedy Hour last year, telling the story about us going to the Scientology Center for a comedy show, and it was fucking crazy.
Recently had a very terrifying thing happen to me. My friend Rivers, who is coming up later, I have a little bit of agoraphobia, so I'll get high and Rivers will take me places, and he won't tell me where, so I don't get scared. So I was really high, and he was like, okay, we're going to this comedy show at the Scientology Center. And I was like, why the fuck would I do that? And he's like, because they have free Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. And I was like, all right, you see where your head's at. So we get there, and we're getting for some chicken and waffles, and if you've ever seen the Celebrity Center of the Scientology building, it looks like if Dracula lived in Hollywood. Like, there's a castle, I shit you not, it's like a castle with like a 15-foot privacy hedges of bushes and stuff. And we're walking up to it, I'm getting really freaked out. The weed's turning on me, it's not fun. And then so I'm like, Rivers, I will take you to Popeyes right fucking now and buy you 30 biscuits. I don't want to fucking meet Tom Cruise. This is gonna get ugly. Like, I got a bad fucking feeling. I don't want to do this. 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 So we're walking up to it, and I don't know if you know this, but the Scientology people have their own police. It's a true fucking story. They have their own police with Matrix earpieces. And so we're walking up, and this motherfucker comes up on a BMX and does that like that cool 14-year-old thing where he like kicks the back tire like he walks up to us with his finger on his fucking earpiece, and he's like, what are you guys doing here tonight? Can I help you? And I was like, oh yeah, we're here for the comedy show. And he was like, what comedy show? It's like the comedy show with the chicken and the waffle. I gotta go. So I'm freaking out, and he's like, oh, okay, the comedy show. I'm like, yeah, the comedy show, you fucking prick. So he's walking us around, he takes us into the building, he's escorting us. He's like, normally we have shows in this building, but the comedy show is in the basement of the Scientology Center tonight. What? So we're fucking getting taken into this place. They have like a big food court, like shopping center area. It's lively as fuck. It's 9 p.m. Why? It's lively as fuck, selling souvenirs, sandwiches, fucking drinks, their little stuff. And there's people going around with little children. So I'm like, maybe it's okay. They wouldn't murder me in front of people, would they? And so we're walking in, I'm freaking out. And so he's taking us in, I'm going to the basement. Sure we are, awesome. And so we go into the building. The building's amazing. Everything in it looks like $1 billion. Everything is like gilded in gold. It's amazing. Good job. It's fucking nice. So we're walking in there, and it's like a labyrinth of hallways. Take a left, take a right, take a right. I'm too high to remember how many times I've turned. I ain't been living no trail of breadcrumbs in this motherfucker, so I'm freaking the fuck out. Walking in here, like a left, right, left, right. And this building's not that big. We're just going in circles. He's trying to make me tired. I know what's happening. So we finally get to this fucking stairwell that's dark. There's 30 million light bulbs in this fucking house. This stairwell is dark. Why? So we get to the stairwell, and it's all dingy as shit. The whole house looks like $1 million, but the fucking stairwell is dark, and it's brick, and it's shitty, and it's got holes in it. Why? I'm not using it's down the stairs. I know it's down the stairs. Tom Cruise's rape dungeon is at the bottom of the stairs. Alright? But I don't fucking feel like going there. I'm not gonna sit there with John Travolta while he jerks off the fucking face off or some shit. You can't have my face off. Stop trying to steal my life, John Travolta. So I don't want you to fucking go down these stairs, and I'm telling Rivers, I'll give you everything I have if you let me get the fuck out of here. And Rivers looks at me and goes, I don't know where the fuck we are. I was like, well, what the hell else you are? I hope you get cancer and die. So we're fucking just in there, and we're just sitting there, so it empties out into this 1970s looking private theater, right? And there's a guy in the back opening film. There's no movie, there's no screen. Why opening film cartridges, you weirdo? So he's back there doing that. It's playing super weird James Bond movie music, and we're sitting in there. My friend Nick's already been there for like 20 minutes, pale as a ghost. We're fucking in. So I go sit down to Nick. I was like, was anybody sitting here? And he goes, no. And I was like, are you sure? He's like, I've been here for 30 minutes. Nobody's sitting there. My seat is warm. Why is my seat warm? No, sir. So I'm sitting there sweating, freaking out, and Rivers is like, I'm gonna find the chicken. We're gonna get the chicken. Rivers has been on the fucking chicken the whole time. Rivers would walk into a fucking Holocaust if there was chicken. So we're sitting there walking around trying to figure it out. Rivers leaves us, just leaves us. And I'm not athletic, Nick's a fucking redneck, so this isn't gonna go well. So we're sitting in there, we ain't got no money, they don't want us, we're spare parts. So we're sitting in there, and then Rivers shows up. And if you don't, nobody here knows Rivers, I realize that, but Rivers is one of those people that never sweats until he does sweat, and then, oh my God, did you just get out of the shower? So, Rivers comes running up to me. This is the first time I've ever seen Rivers run in my fucking life. Rivers runs up to me, his face is just pale, he's sweaty. He goes, there's no chicken, it's all alive. We gotta get the fuck out of here. So that's all Baby Joe needed to hear. I jumped up out of that motherfucker and started running. I sprinted up the stairs. I don't give a shit where this hallway goes. This guy goes somewhere. I'm running down there just running. Now I'm a big motherfucker. Once I get going, nothing's gonna stop me. So I'm running through there. I bust out the front door. I'm running through the fucking courtyard. I just told you about that. It was bustling. No more than 15 minutes ago, full of 30 people. It's empty and the lights are out. I'm done. That's out. I'm fucking running. But these bushes don't have holes in them. They're like self-aware sentient bushes that won't let me out of this fucking shithole. I'm running, can't find a hole. I'm running, I can't find a hole. Then I start hearing footsteps behind me with this fucking security guy running behind me saying, where you going? His fucking feet sound like the Nazis and the Sound of Music. I don't fucking need this in my life. So I'm running. I see a fucking gate. It's like 4 feet tall. I don't give a fuck. I fucking leaped that like a goddamn Olympian. I hurdled that motherfucker. And this is this is how you know LA's a fucking cesspool. I jump to hurdle the thing, look over, an asshole waiting in traffic in line sees me looking crazy, jumping over the thing and goes, that's about right. No sir, you should have just saved me. We could have gone to Popeyes. Fucking prick. So, that's my Scientology jokes. I can't tell that in California because I'll never work again.
I did want to read this because it's... So
this is a Yelp review.
This is what fucking infuriates me about Yelp. This has nothing to do with the cult. This is what pisses me off about Yelp. There's like 157 Yelp reviews and they're all 5 stars. That means that there's 157 people in this cult.
At least.
But there's one 3-star Yelp review, but here's all it says.
Not a big fan.
I love history. That's why I like that place. You can go there if you want to have some time.
Sick.
Once
SIC.
You can go there if you want to have some time.
Yeah, you can go there if you want sometime. Once we arrived, there was what the fuck? Okay. Once we arrived, there we received a tour inside the house, and we had a chance to identify history of the house and the current organization mission. There are so many spots there for meditation. There is no fees to visit the place. Overall, good experience. 3 stars. Fuck you. 5 stars. Overall good experience. Fuck you. That used to happen when I worked at the goddamn grilled cheese store. People would leave reviews like, it was great. We loved it. The staff seemed a little too helpful.
Yeah, by the way, this is just a public service announcement because one of my roommates actually works for Lyft. If you give a Lyft driver or an Uber driver anything less than 5 stars, that means they failed. And if they continue to get less than 5 stars, they'll get fired.
Yeah. Don't be an asshole.
If you think it was great, give them fucking 5 stars.
If you loved this cult, give them 5 stars, asshole.
Yeah, people.
This guy didn't make it.
Yeah, a Likert scale isn't meant for subtlety. Ass.
That's the thing. Is like this guy did not make it. He got a talking to. The entire time we were there, there was an overarching tension. I never heard music. I never heard music coming out of the kitchen. And there was people working in there all day.
They don't whistle while they work there.
No, there was not a misplaced fart or...
They were all right in the right place.
Everyone waited till they were outside.
They were all exactly where they were supposed to be.
It was eerily quiet, and the guy we worked for, we were working with, was like a very browbeaten guy.
Yeah.
And me and the guy I was working with surmised that he just realized that he wasn't going to keep going up the pyramid of the cult.
He'd plateaued.
Yeah, so he was kind of disgruntled, but he was like already too far in.
And now John Rogers dead, and John Morton doesn't want anybody sexier than him in the organization, so he's done.
But
once you hit the glass ceiling at the cult, it's a very sort of sobering experience. You pay all that money and you spend all that time in the reevaluation shack.
Right. And well, in there it's literally a glass ceiling, and they throw you up against it. You actually hit a glass ceiling.
But
and then they bone you when you fall down.
It's amazing when I look at it because it's like they draw bits and pieces from every cult. It's amazing how new cults just draw bits and pieces. From,
right.
You get a little transcendental meditation, a little bit of Scientology, and it's just all the elements are from like kind of the same palette, the same repertoire of cult stuff.
That's one of the things, if you look on the controversy section on Wikipedia, I believe in order it says, abuse, sexual assault, and then down the list is plagiarism.
Yeah.
Like at the end. And also, let's not forget plagiarism. Let's not forget that they ripped off other original cults who came up with their own ideas.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is that it's probably the people from Transcendental Meditation who are not a cult, but they're like, man, why are these cults taking our
oh, no, yeah, like they took a little Buddhism, they took like some words out of Christianity.
They took this Jesus guy, but he's not the Jesus guy we all know. He's actually this John Roger guy who, taught high school in Rosemead.
Yeah, and a lot about the Big Bang Theory, and there's something called the disbursement, which is some sort of spiritual event.
It's interesting that they brought up the Big Bang Theory because it's probably the reason that a lot of people are in that cult is that they couldn't get their pass their auditions for the Big Bang Theory.
No, the Big Bang Theory was much funnier than anything that happened in that house, and that's saying something.
Brent, where can people find you on the internet, sir?
Well, I'm locked out of my Twitter.
What?
Yeah, I am at Brent Pettie on Pettie on Twitter. But I also forgot my password. I don't know. Can you follow people on Facebook?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm Brent Pettie.
Yeah.
Pettie. That's yeah.
Yeah. Well,
There's not another persona to track down. Although I do sometimes go by the Christ
or the Traveler.
Yeah.
Or the Urban Farmer.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Fat Farm. PHAT.
The man of many straw hats.
Yeah.
And don't forget about Fat Beach.
Fat Beach, yeah. I'm leaving the Fat Farm and going to the Fat Beach, and no one can stop me. All right.
Joining Coolio.
Yep. Again, shout out to Frank Gillen for sending us gifts. If you want to send us gifts, then, find us on Facebook, facebook.com/thegoodspod. We're on Twitter @thegoodspod. And, say something nice. And, so we'll take you out now with some Jason Isbell. This is off of the newest record. The record's called Something More Than Free. And this is the first song. It's called If It Takes a Lifetime. And we'll
send me gifts, too.
Yeah.
And don't kill us, John Roger.
Yeah, he's dead. We got to worry about sexy ass Morton.
Oh.
I've been working here. Monday it'll be here. And I can't recall a day when I didn't want to disappear. But I keep on showing up. Hell-bent on growing up. If it takes a lifetime. I'm learning how to be alone. Fall asleep with the TV on. And I fight the urge to live inside my telephone. I keep my spirits high. Find happiness by and by. If it takes a lifetime. Too far from my raising, I forgot where I come from. And the line between right and wrong was so fine. Well, I thought the highway loved me, but she beat me like a drum. My day will come if it takes a lifetime. Keep liquor here. Never cared for wine or beer. And working for the county keeps me pissing clear. The nights are dry as dust, but I'm letting my eyes adjust. If it takes a lifetime. Well, I got too far from my raising, I forgot where I come from. And the line between right and wrong was so fine. But I thought the highway loved me, but she beat me like a drum.
The Goods from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter at The Goods Pod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter at DJ Smiles.